All right, we're back. Finally got some time to work on the train. So I'm on the other side now. I think one side is pretty much fixed. So I'm going to move on to the other side where we have damage on this corner. Crack goes down to about here, comes up here, comes over here, right here. Then this corner, you can see it's cracked around here. For some reason, it's got hot glue around this, but it's not cracked or anything. Not sure why they did that. I found globs of hot glue on several other places on here for no reason. Anyway, I'm going to start with this one. It's smaller, be easier to work on, faster to fix. So let me pause it and then I'll get my camera set up and then we'll go from there. The first thing I'm going to do is heat this area up so we can get a little more flexibility in the plastic where I can hold it together better and try welding it. You don't have to hold the dryer on there for long. It'll soften up fairly quickly. And just try and melt a little bit of the plastic together. I'm not sure if there's enough there to hold it or not. I may have to epoxy it on the inside. Just kind of push a little bit from each side on there. And smooth it out. And if it starts getting clear, just leave that spot alone for a minute or two. Let it cool. You can see how it's clear right on the crack. There's a little bit of a crack right there. Just kind of scrape a little bit. Not sure how strong that's going to be, so I'm going to melt a little extra plastic on there. I wish my overhead light was in a different spot. Just use any old scrap piece of plastic that you have. You can use a milk jug. I think that's what this came off of, as thin as it is. Just kind of smooth it out a little bit with the side of the tip. You can see the crack comes all the way down. Looks like to about here. This little light that's almost soldering iron doesn't really do much. Either that or my eyes are not as good as they used to be. I'm going to pause it. I've got another light over here I'm going to set up. I'm going to pause it for just a second. Okay, that looks a little better. You can see what I'm doing right here. And better I can see. Just kind of melt some of the milk jug and then spread it out, smooth it out with the edge of the tip. You see how that gets real flimsy when it's hot. And the plastic on these trains around the edge of the cab, it's real thin. So you have to be real careful with them. I'm going to melt this piece on and then go somewhere else for a while and let this cool down. Try and get it kind of fairly smooth so that when I paint over it, it won't be too noticeable. This one, unfortunately, with all this damage on it, it's not going to have a real high resale value. But if somebody's careful with it, it'll last who knows how long. And it'll keep it out of the landfill. Excuse me. And it'll be a good entry-level piece. Somebody maybe can't afford to spend $700, $800, $900 on one that's in mint condition. So can't see where I'm pointing now, but you just notice this crack on this side. There's a crack all the way up to here, and all the way up this side. And then it goes across here and down this way just a little bit. And it goes to about right in here. So I'm going to move this around where you can see better. Get my camera in a little better spot. You can see the crack running down here. I'm going to try and, I guess I'll start with that part of it. Put my coat over here somewhere. me just a second. Okay, I think I'm going to heat this up a little bit too, just because that's easier to work with. You don't have to worry about pushing it, cracking it anymore. You can get it to line up a little better. See, if you push it just a little bit, it almost completely closes that crack. That's what I want to do before I weld it. And push from the inside and pretty much close that crack up. So that I'm going to do that and just weld a couple of spots to hold it. You have to be careful when you're holding it from one side and welding it on the other, because if you're not careful, you'll burn your finger or your thumb. That's holding pretty good, so I'll take the tip, just kind of go down that crack a little bit, and then kind of drag it across from the side and push a little light layer of plastic together. Like I said before, you always have to watch where that fat part of the tip is touching when you're working with just the tip. You can see the fat part was touching out here and started melting it because I got a little too close on my angle. Just kind of run that tip up this contour, kind of help keep that line defined. And it's not, at this stage in the game, with this one, it's not going to make that much of a difference whether that line is real sharp or not. Nobody's going to be that close to it, except the people handling it. You put it out in your yard or in your house, very few people are going to get up close enough to notice every little detail. Let's see if I can push this piece out. Get these two. Put back in place so that I can weld it. And it doesn't want to go. So I'm going to hold it right there. It doesn't want to line up exactly. I'm going to heat that up a little bit more. If I can keep from knocking my soldering iron off. You just have to kind of work with them a little bit. Heat it up, get it soft where you can push it around a little bit without breaking it. I think that's as good as it's going to get. So I'm going to weld some of this together. You can see how fast that plastic's turning clear because it's so thin. Just have to keep the tip moving, otherwise you'll burn a hole through it. Just make sure there's some of the plastic is in that hole. Then I'm going to come along here where the crack is. It's not doing too good. I'm just gonna epoxy this part along here. So now I'll come over here. Where you can see this crack comes all the way up, and then this hole is, this corner is busted. So I'm gonna start down here. There's the light better. That there's pretty good. It's not quite perfectly lined up, but it's pretty close. And this plastic is a little bit thicker than up on the top. I guess it's from the manufacturing process. The amount of plastic that gets blown out to the edge of the mold. I guess for some reason on the top, not much plastic gets to that part of it. And this one you can see it's got a crack, kind of a curved crack, and then it's got this main crack. So I'm going to go down the curved one, see if I can't get that one a little stronger before I go mess with the rest of it. What I'm going to do is, since this plastic is so thin, once I get through doing all of this, I will epoxy the inside however much I can reach of it. Now this crack, right here, which you can't see. With the crack running across here, I'm going to try and weld up. Just got to kind of push down on there. And it's some extra plastic on here to reinforce it, because it looks like there's a little bit of it that's gone. It'll give me a little extra plastic to work with. The thinner it is, the harder it is to work with, unless you're just epoxying it. The drawback to epoxy is it takes so long to cure. You know, I can't sit here for 24 hours holding it. The tape doesn't always work. It's still hot. Pushed it out from the inside, and it's still hot. I'm just going to kind of, this part that overlaps, I'm just going to kind of melt it down and shape it. You don't have to worry about getting it perfect, because you're not going to. No matter how long you spend on it, you're not going to get it perfect. The only way to do that is to melt the plastic down and put it back in the mold, which these molds are long gone, so they're either long gone or in somebody's private collection that they're not remaking them. I'm going to heat this little piece up, try and see if I can bend it a little bit without breaking it. Cord keeps hanging on everything. Okay, I've still got to epoxy this part, and I'm going to cut some. It's still hot right there. I'm going to melt some plastic to cover this hole. And I'll do that in a few minutes. So that'll be it for this video. I don't want to make them too long. So thanks for watching. I hope it's not going to be upside down the whole time, but who knows. Anyway, thanks for watching. Click the like button if you want to subscribe to the channel and get notified when the next episode is posted. Just click the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.